So there are two different positions where we can fit the motor in the block. And there's one in red there, and then the other one is on the end, and that's in red too. On this block, that is. So fitting the motor, we must not damage the wires when we're doing it. So you mustn't be too severe pushing and pulling on wires. Best not do that at all. Keep your hands away from the wires and then just concentrate on holding the body of the motor. Now, in some circumstances, it doesn't matter which way you push the motor in. But what you've got to remember is, as you push the motor in position, you lose grip on it. So you've got no motor to hold once it's so far in. So a better idea is actually put it in the hole backwards. So if we dangle the wires in the hole and then feed them through, now we've got plenty to grip, look. Push and twist, and then thumbs and fingers. So your fingers are on the bottom, your thumbs are on the top, and you're pushing the body of the motor to the depth you require. There we are. Be a mistake to push on the hub, because with the hub you might well push the hub itself down too far, and then the hub contacts the body of the motor and then it won't spin properly. So we've got to be free to spin. So you have got this problem with the sleeves and the wires sticking out at the bottom. Now, as long as we're not too severe with them all, we can flatten those over, and you can put a piece of sticky tape on there. So an ordinary piece of tape, like masking tape, sorry, like that, and that just helps keep, and rub the tape on, that just helps keep the cables in the right place and gives a bit of protection to the back end of the motor wires where the sleeves are. There it goes. So that's the first thing. Then of course any extra items can be attached on. So what happens when you try and go and attach a wheel onto it? Well, if you just use one of the wheels, because by the time we do push that wheel onto there, the hole in the centre will be bigger, and we don't want to enlarge the hole in all of the wheels, but use one of them and you can simply make it a little bit bigger. There we are. Make it a little bit bigger like that. Now, as we push the wheel onto the hub, the whole motor is going to want to push back through the block. So, finger in the back. So the finger's gone in the back and it's at the back of the motor now. And now, hopefully, there it goes. And just check that it spins. So the motor hasn't been pushed back. Your finger at the back supported it just inside there, and then we've pushed on the foam wheel. So now that allows us to add other items in card and etc. to experiment with what we can spin. Now to power it, of course, we need the battery, and we said in the overview video the battery fits into the hole that goes all the way through the whole thing, from one side to the other. Now, in order to keep the wire connections attached onto the battery, then what we're going to need is an elastic band, but that's just a little bit too slack. So what I prefer to do with this elastic band is stretch it a bit, and you think, well, that makes it much too slack. Well, it does, but now double it. So now double it over, and that should fit on. So that's more like it. We take one wire and attach it there. So I've hooked up the elastic band over the top of the wire. The positioning of the elastic band is important because it's just got to make sure that it's pulling down on the fastener and pulling it against the battery itself. So let's try the other one. So push that one a bit, push that one a bit, and there we go. quite happily spinning there now. So sometimes it does take a little bit of fiddling around, and positioning the elastic band forward or backward of the point I've got it helps make the battery contacts more secure. So in order to stop it, we've just got to lift off the connection. Now we're going to attach a switch to this later, so don't worry about that. So there's the first motor position in the block. But of course there's that other position, so let's take out the motor. You might want to swap it to a different place. So peel off the tip. So removing the motor. So what I do here is try not to crush the wires and simply push it out from the back. Push it out from the back. Then when you can grip it, there it goes. Careful not to pull. And we don't want to pull off the fasteners, so just guide them through the hole. And now let's fit it in the other position. So now, same as before, feed the wires in. Now the problem we've got here is guiding them round the corner. So when you put them in, look, bend them a little bit like that to start with, so they're going to go round the corner. And then you'll see them on the way out. There they are. And it's the same as before. So let's just be careful not to push too hard and damage the wheel, crush the wheel into the body of the motor, but gradually push it down. And it's best with your fingers like this, look. So hold like that, fingers underneath, gradually push it in, just a little bit at a time. Turn it round a bit, little bit at a time. That's absolutely fine. Now let's try it. Reposition the wires, one down one side and one down the other. So two options for whereabouts the motor can fit, depending on what sort of project. Now we've got all of those other parts as well to bring into it, and all of the projects do not have to use the hub in that sort of way with a wheel attached to it. We can use the hub in other ways as well. Of course, we can always attach things made of card, and we did show you an example of this earlier. So for example, you can have a card disc, sticky tape it on, and that's a great way to experiment with making a colour wheel. So if you've got some different coloured felt pens and a spinning cardboard disc, you can simply touch the felt pen while it's moving. Let's give it a quick try. I think it would look more exciting with different colours, but you get the idea. While it's spinning, you see the colours sort of blend a little bit. So that's an interesting little project in itself, a colour wheel. All right, let's take that off. And that's our motor positions. We've got to look at the switch yet, but not in this short video.